Welcome back to Switch Direct. Today I'm playing Dead Cells. I'm going to be doing a custom run where custom allows you to do some different options, like limiting which equipment appears. Since I really love the Spartan boots and traps, I'm just going to do a run that way and show you what it's like. As you unlock things, you get to be able to decide what you want to, and I suggest not doing custom when you first start, so you get a variety of the different moves and weapons and everything as you go. This is also just the normal difficulty. As you beat the game, full run, what you'll do is you'll unlock boss cells that will let you up the ante, so to speak, up to 5 of them, making it harder and harder. I do have a few of the unlocks already, as you can see there. We got the firebrands and the Spartan boots. So Spartan boots are just like from the movie 300, where you get to kick people. Firebrands is a way of just shooting fire. The Spartan boots do extra damage if you hit them into things or off of ledges. It also looks cool and is pretty fast. It's one of the reasons I like it. We're going to have a mixture of the brutality blue and the tactics for this run. As you play, you actually get to you have 3 different types: the brutality, which is the red, the tactics, which is purple, and the green, which is survival. While most of the levels, during the level, we'll be doing, I really don't want anything from that shop, so I'm just running by. There's timers involved here, so if I get done with this level fast enough, then I'll get some bonuses. We really don't need any of that. Those shops are more helpful in the normal mode because you're just getting random for everything, and that lets you sort of hone in on what you want. Plus, even with getting the right weapons that I want always, there's better and worse versions of each of them. So you gotta pay attention to that. Let's see. Let's get that, fill that out. Since I beat that last little level in under 2 minutes, I got to do that. To open this, I had to kill 30 enemies without taking a hit. With my counter, I'm at 12. Here we can unlock things with those cells that I got. Assault shield. No, we won't take that, but I need to finish spending all my cells before I can move on. Here I can get mutations. I like initiative with this build because I'm really trying to one-hit everything anyways, so having the first hit be my death kill is perfect. Later I'll get set up what lets me do more damage when I'm next to traps, since I'm going to be using traps for everything. I find that in the later levels and the bosses, the traps really shine to just let me beat him, whereas the kicking lets me get through the levels really quickly. That's why I like to do it that way. Again, I would suggest, if you're new to it, to actually try all the different weapons that they have to offer and go through naturally. Wait until you're trying to just do a specific build or test something out to go into the custom, or if you're just having a hard time and want to try some other things. That door I just went by, I have to be on a certain level of difficulty, 3 boss cells. And that's not just beating the game 3 times. I'm going to get 1 survival, even though I'm not using any survival stuff, just so I can get the health. $300. This is Sparta. There's diminishing returns on the health bonus part of those as you get them. So like the first one is pretty great and valuable, but the later ones are less so. So I like to at least get one of the even the ones I'm not going to be using. Firebrands are great because it's just a nice quick dot that I can stack on top of the traps, which I realize I haven't used yet. We didn't need to do that. Need to do a little bit of exploration so you can get these bonuses. That's for an alternate route that we're not going to take. You'll find that in the levels there's a lot of these like spin-off areas and a main path. So even though each of these areas is randomly generated each time, you'll have a general feel for what you should be expecting, where you'll like to go. I'm going to alternate between the purple and the red for a little bit here, although I'll probably go just full purple later. This is another area that you need to be able to do wall running to be able to go up. I do have that unlocked. Some of those types of abilities you get as you play through, but I'm just going a different route. And when I say routes, what I'm talking about is there is sort of these common places you have to go, like these different, the end game, the final castle. But after you beat a level, you can exit out into one level or another level. So we went into the ramparts, but we could have gone into a different way, I'm gonna take that this time. I'm not the best at this game, so getting the 0 hits bonus is rare for me, but the time one is pretty common for me. Here we'll get the support, so this is the one that lets us have more DPS when we have a deployed skill, which we will when we're by the bosses, so that's good. Full health. So you get into higher boss cells, you don't get that, you won't get the full recharge every time. It's part of the extra difficulty, so you really do have to learn how to play this game without taking hits in order to do well at it, at the high end. I mean, even this took me quite a bit to be good enough for this. There's a real high ceiling of skill cap for this game, which I think fans of the genre will really enjoy. But even if you're not great at it, like me, I think you can have a lot of fun with it and not have to worry about being the highest end skill. Because this is just very fluid gameplay that's a joy. And it's really satisfying. Animations, style. I'm really liking all of these pixel art games on the Switch. It's a great revival. I think I'm gonna get any of those. Each of those, you know, you can see there's like bonuses if they're already burning and stuff like that. Some will cause poison or burning themselves. Freezing, status effects, bonus damage when they're freezing, bonus damage, you know, period, but you take more damage, stuff like that. So, like, this build, since I can guarantee since I already have fire, you know, I would want to get ones that do bonus damage when they're burning, you know, because I can just throw the firebrands and get that bonus right away. When you're playing, you'll want to just kind of pay attention to what is it you already got and what's going to be working best with what you got. This is part of the fun of the gameplay for this, too, is that you have to think on your feet each run. Okay, what's working best for me, not just do, you know, the exact same thing. Saw an elite guy down there. You usually get better drops with them. Ouch. Never use that full power. Actually, I like what I got better. Oops. All right. Dead in there. Pretty close to the end of this level. must have been down this other way. I love those animations. It's a real satisfying crunch when you jump on someone. It's dead end too. Must have been farther back. Down here, I presume. There we go. Now, this is getting us to the first boss. So, he's not too hard, especially with this build that I got. I can basically just jump around and spam my traps, which is what I intend to do. Now we're gonna go with this one. This is nice because it increases my max health by 50%, which is a big bonus. But I can't be healed by normal foods, which is okay. You don't really get that much healing from that either. There's also an +6 infection, which I'm not sure exactly what that does. I think that's more relevant at higher levels of difficulty. They don't do an awesome job of fully explaining some of these things. So I put traps down, fire them up, try and kick them away. Pass. More traps down. Get the wall. There we go. See, I think I want to keep the one on the bottom because it does plus damage to a target that's burning. So, which is what we already are doing. Ooh, I don't know if I want to take that. This is a plus damage thing, but I take more damage too. That's kind of scary. Now, since I beat that first boss in under 15 minutes, I get these other boss cells, which is really important because where I was doing some unlocks. Ooh, this looks nice. Damage to bleeding targets. Yeah, that looks pretty good. After bosses, you get an extra way of spending cells that you can't other places. It's this forge. As you can see, I already unlocked the first tier of this with 500 cells by just sort of farming the boss. What that does is every weapon I get will always have a plus on it, making it a little bit better. This is going to make it so there's a chance for a higher chance for these to drop as plus. So I'm going to just dump all of my points into there. So that one takes a little bit more to actually build up, as you can see. But that's a good way of, you know, continually progressing, making your guy stronger. Even, you know, you're going to be, as you play this over and over, you're going to get better. So you're going to get farther just because of that. But these types of things that you can unlock and build up, like I unlocked multiple potions and other things like that, those are going to make it so it's also a little bit easier. It's that meta progression that is I really like to see in games. We see it commonly in these roguelikes or roguelites. I think it's a great way of making a shorter game that's worth playing over and over again. Okay, now I have to get a key without it being too repetitive. Let's kill this guy. There's a room with a key in it. And back to the entrance. The other fun thing about this kicking is I can actually kick those cannonballs back. We got another blueprint. So once you have a blueprint, that's something that you can put points into to unlock. I think we want some more reds. Since we're no longer one-shotting these guys. Ooh, that hurt. Actually, potion. First time I have potion. It's okay. On the first difficulty, you can actually. It gets fully recharged every time you beat a level. That is not the case on the harder difficulties. Maybe I do have to go through here. Oh, that's going to be going to a different area. Must have been farther back. This is Sparta. I say that in my head every time I kick someone. But just for you guys, I'm gonna do it out loud a few times. Now we're gonna go to the clock tower. This is another fun area. They do a pretty good job of keeping the variety of levels different too. is this? Interesting. Once you have 3 mutations, you can't get any more. That's why I'm skipping past him. You guys have a little bit more health, so I'm having to rely on more than just kicking to finish them off. But as you can see, those traps, they just do enormous damage. And if I can get them places, then you can knock them off. Still one-shot them. There's going to be a lot of these little side rooms. This is where it gets the sort of story. You can sometimes like find items and stuff in that too. They're random little events. It'll take a lot of playthroughs to see most of those. First. Take that. Got plenty of red now. We'll probably just only be getting purple. And choosing purple if we can. Three, really quickly. So even when I can't just straight up kill them with one kick, this Spartan thing is great for quick deaths because they go off right off the ledge. Now the clock tower has a lot of these much longer side routes, and it's kind of important here because I need to go down them just to find the keys for the end. But I've also been lucky with finding lots of bonuses. where I need a key. But I got the teleporter there, so that's good. Ouch. No, that's dead end. Okay. I thought that was going to be another area. So now we have a little bit more exploration to go. But there's not too many routes. You're not going to be lost for ages. I would have liked in this game to have some more like, let's see. Yeah, this is a lot better. Actually, let's look at the firebrands too. No, we don't have any frozen, so. Bell tower key. I would like to see like incremental stat increases as you go. I know that wouldn't be, what everyone would like, but that makes it so, if you're struggling with a certain difficulty, like say you're going on the boss cells, you want to just beat the whole game, because let's be honest, you're not really beating the full game unless you're beating all the difficulties, right? This will get you to eventually being able to do that. And there we have the key. Whereas this progression seems to be much more slow and less impactful overall after your initial upgrades of like the potions and stuff like that. Once you got those, you're pretty much set, because the other main progression is just unlocking things that you can use, but the random nature, you don't get to guarantee that you're going to have them. Like all those different weapons I haven't unlocked yet. Unless there's a specific mutation you need for build. It really seems to be like the only other progress is that forge, which you only get off of bosses, just to make your weapons a little bit better. Always, So you actually, and I mean, I suppose this could be a positive too for the game itself, is in order to be able to beat those higher boss cells, you have to actually really be good at the game. You can't just rely on over leveling it, like I like to do. So anyone you see actually beating this on 5 boss cells is really good. No doubt. But even if you can't do that, you're not gonna not enjoy this game. You're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck. Now, this is the final level of the normal difficulty, which will be followed by the final boss of the normal difficulty. Once you've beaten it, then you get your first boss cell, and in order to get more boss cells, you have to enable that boss cell at the beginning, which increases the difficulty. And then you beat it in again on that difficulty, you'll get your second boss cell. Enable that, it's going to be even harder. And then so on and so on, up to 5. And then you can get a true ending boss area. That the masters can get to. That's the part where I wish there was more meta progression, because it's not just beating the same thing on a higher difficulty that I'm missing out on by not being good enough to beat 5 boss cells. It's also I'm missing out on levels to play. It's a difference about the accessibility of games available. Like Celeste, which is also on sale this week, has accessibility options. By that I mean it has easy modes. But when you take those easy modes, you can actually see the full game. Whereas this, I mean, there's easier modes by just playing on an easier difficulty, but you don't get to see all the levels. And that's a shame, you know. And I would be curious on the metrics about it, but the developers probably know that a much smaller percentage of the people are actually seeing the content they're working on, you know? It's like people who are paying customers for their games, you'd want them to see their content. There's a lot of hard work goes into it. But that can also be the motivation for people to keep on playing their game too, so. There's that. Now here, I'm going to want to find 3 keys. 2 are minimum needed in order to get to the final boss. And a 3rd gives you an extra room of goodies. Each key is in one of these, behind one of these colored doors. So these guys, even though it takes tons of kicks to kill them, they take a ton of damage. The fall part of that. The argument I can give out against using this just always is that they don't have the same sustained damage per second. But that's where in this custom game and guaranteeing that I'll have these traps to do that part of it offsets it. Push. I'll do that here. Better safe than sorry. Each of the different weapons that you get will feel different too when you play it. So that's also part of the replay value. Now I got the 3 keys. Just need to find the ending. Store. Is this the end? Oh, moonflower key. Let's try just going straight up here. Must be up there, up to the right. I do see the treasure up there. Okay, here we go. The handy map is not, even this late level isn't too hard to figure out. Here we go. See, door. If you got the 3rd, you get a bonus. So we'll just do that. I think this is going to be great. We got flammable oil. Not sure exactly what that does. We got clouds and piercing. This is going to be good because they're going to be poisoned from the other guy. And now, last intermission room. Little break before the final boss. this is another thing. You can upgrade things, but it reforges the modifiers. If you really like them, your modifiers, it's a gamble to see, what you're gonna get. I think I'm gonna want to keep mine, but that's part of the point of the money, is that sort of gambling. Take something that's already got enough, a bunch of pluses on it, upgrade it, but doesn't have good modifiers, upgrade it, and hopefully you get new ones, and then maybe re-roll it until you get the ones you like. Stacking all of the plus damage when burning or something like that, Yeah. Hand of the King. Hand of the King, you got nothing on my traps. Look at that. He can even be knocked into the side area. Sucker. Of course I can't. He's a push now. Kind of chaotic. I don't know how those expert players beat this on super hard difficulties without taking hits. That's just insane skill. Got that money, boss souls, and then here we go at the end. So if I had 5 boss souls active, then I'd get to go to this area. I do not, so I do not get to. And then I expel my body. I leave. Full run, 31 minutes. Next run I'll be able to carry those boss souls over into the first set of unlocking of things. There we have it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I'm not the best at this, but at least it was hopefully interesting for you, and gave you some idea of what the game would be like if you were on the fence about getting it. Alright, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next time.